Hey everybody, Shawn Holsinger here from HolsingersFlyShop.com, bringing you another tying video this week. This week it's a dry fly, a caddis pattern, and this is another twist on a Safet pattern. This is the way I like to tie it. He uses foam for the body. I'm going to tie it a little bit different and use some CDC in it. But very cool pattern, very realistic pattern that does really well on pressured fish. This worked real well on a local stream with mine that has a lot of caddis on it, and it's pressured pretty hard, and I did real well with this pattern. So I'm not going to talk much. I'm going to show you the video how to tie the fly, and then after it, in the closing section, I'm going to show you how I make the wings, how I make Safet's wings, which is pretty cool. And so stick around to the end if you want to see how I make these wings. So here's a picture of the fly and then the material list to tie it. Okay, here you see this very cool looking Tan Caddis pattern, imitation in vise. Let's get into tying it. For a hook, I'm using a Daiichi 1170 dry fly hook. And we'll put that in the vise there. For thread, we're using 70 Denier black. This is just UTC thread. You could use Superfly Nano Silk black if you have it, that's great too. For dubbing, I'm using some Dave Whitlock's SLF Squirrel dub. This is, or pattern blends. This is Red Squirrel Nymph Abdomen. And this is going to give us that brownish tan color that I want. It would work great for October caddis too. But we got a lot of tan caddis in my area. I'm going real thin on this. I want to keep my body thin. And I don't want to build up too big. So I'm going to start back there at the bend of the hook. And I'm just going to wrap this forward, and I want to get up there about an eye and a half behind. And there we go. So there you see, nice thin body, didn't overdo it. Next thing I'm going to put on is some CDC. This is about 3 or 4 pieces of CDC, depending on how fluffy it is. I'm going to use 3 on this one. And I just want to pinch the tips all together, stack them up all together, pinch the tips, get them the same length. And I'm going to set that down right on top of the hook, and I'm going to tie it in there behind the eye. A little bit back. I want room to tie the rest of it on here. And then we're going to cut off those butt sections here. Now you can set them aside. You can use them for the next step, or step after next here. We're just going to smooth off that head. This is going to be the underwing for my fly. For the wing, I'm going to take one of the feathers that I'm going to show you how to make here at the end. You can see there's a feather shaft running down the middle here on this one. I'm just going to fold it in half right down that feather shaft. And then I'm going to cut a heart shape out of it. And here you can see, here's one that I had already cut that heart shape. Make half of a heart, so when you open it up, it's just like when you're a little kid making a heart out of a piece of paper. So just do that. Cut your wing out. When you're done, you should have a nice little folded wing that opens up like this, and there it makes your tent wing, your nice tent shaped wing for your caddis fly. So we're just going to slide that back over top of that CDC there and get the point right in behind that eye, and we're going to tie that down right behind the eye. So now to finish this off, I'm going to make a collar up there. So I want to make a little head with my thread here, getting that all tied down. Make sure that stays on top, centered down the top like that. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to split my thread. I'm going to use a needle here and split my thread. Just rub it on the bottom here to flatten it out. The more times I do it, the flatter the thread will get. And when I get it nice and flat, then I'm just going to stick my needle down through the middle of it, and that'll open my thread up. And when I get it split in half, I just put my finger in there, and you can see I got that separated nice. Okay, then I'm going to put some CDC in my CDC clamp, and we're just going to put it in between that split thread and pinch down on it, let the thread out of my finger, and it'll pinch down on the CDC fibers. And then I put my finger behind it, give a good twist on my bobbin there. You see it spinning. And it's going to spin that thread around and catch all the fibers, all those CDC fibers in there. This is what we're going to use to make the collar and the legs on this fly. So it's going to give it a nice leggy look, and it's going to give it some extra CDC to help it float. So we're just going to wrap that on there, make it nice and buggy looking. Wrap it right up behind that eye. And make a little head, and we're going to be done with this fly. So just put a little whip finish on here to finish it. Like another one. And that is all that's to this very cool looking fly that really does well on pressured fish because it's so natural and it floats so well. So what I'll do here now, last thing, is I'm going to pull the fibers back, and I just want to trim off any long ones. So out of this buggy collar here that we made, I'm just going to trim any long ones. And you see there, great looking pattern, looks great when it's done, and it fishes real well. Okay guys, hope you like that fly. Pretty easy to tie after you make the wings. There's a lot of setup to this fly. That's the only bad thing to it. Making these wings takes a little bit of time. Once you get them made though, you know, you can fly right through them. And like I said in the beginning, this is a pattern that works great for pressured fish because it's very realistic. And the only bad thing I don't like about it is I do a lot of dry dropper fishing. And if I just want to dry fly fish and not dry dropper, this is my go-to pattern. I'm going to use this. It's not going to hold up a nymph underneath it unless it's, you know, unless there's no weight to it or something, or very, very, very minimal weight to it. So use it for pressured fish, but now I'm going to show you how I make these wings. What I'm going to use to make the wings is some organza ribbon. This ribbon works really, really nice. You can get organza material by the yard, but I got it in the ribbon because it's like the same size as a feather. I can lay a feather right on there and works. Mod Podge to glue the feather to the ribbon. And for feathers, in the video here, I'm just using some whiting Brahma hen is what this is. Brahma hen wing. You can use soft tackle chickaboo. You can use partridge, whatever you want. Here you're going to see how I put the wing together. Okay, here you see I have it all ready to go here. I have some I already started, and I'm going to do some new ones on this one. This is just a piece of craft foam. It just makes something nice that's flexible, that it will peel off of when I'm done. You can see I already started to strip this one back. But I'm just going to start out with putting my strip of organza ribbon down on the foam. And then I'm just going to dip my finger in the Mod Podge. You could use a brush here if you want, but I just use my finger. This glue comes off your finger real easily. And I just soak that into that organza fabric. And I will do a strip of this the whole length here, but I'm just going to do a couple to show you on this one just to keep moving through. So just cover that up with glue, and then take and wipe your finger off because we're going to use your finger to push down the feather. So then we just take the feather here, and I'm just going to lightly place that on top. You see there, I lightly placed it on top, and then I'm going to pat it into that glue so it soaks in through the glue, and you don't want it to come through onto your finger. And I'm just going to roll it right out across the length of here. Oops. I'll use a bodkin or something to place it where I want it, and just keep going out across like you see here until I get the whole strip covered. Okay, once I got them pressed into here like this, I'm going to let them dry until they get clear like this row down here. These ones have one coat on it, just the base coat. So I put a base coat down, then I put the feather on top. When that dries, then I come in and put a coat over top. And this is just going to help seal it all and make it stick to that fabric real well. Don't have to go real heavy on it. Just want to cover it all, that's all. And I'm going to cover all the fabric and the feathers again. Okay, after you get the wing made, you let it all dry and it's all done. You know, it's on my sheet here. All I do is just peel up the edge, peel these right off. It comes right off this foam. The foam is flexible and it works great. So you see there, works great doing it on this little sheet of foam. And these things, like I said, they're indestructible. You know, I can fold it all up. It pops right back. They're just great. It's a great pattern. Safet did a great job on it, and I like using it. So if you have any questions, you know, feel free to reach out to me at holsingersflyshop.com. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions on how I do any of this. Or if you would like some, you know, to order some of these flies or other flies, you can reach out to me at holsingersflyshop@gmail.com. And if you need any of the materials other than the organza ribbon and the Mod Podge and stuff like that, you can find all that at our website at holsingersflyshop.com. So thanks for watching, guys. Like I said, reach out to us if you need anything. And until next week when I bring you another video, I'm Shawn Holsinger.